Are you ready?
Yo, what up? I'm gonna finish eating.
Welcome,
Yeah, I just finished too.
Hey, what's going on?
welcome,
Me too, Jim.
welcome, gentlemen. Welcome, Circle of Gratitude, man. My brothers, once again, I see y'all talking about grubbing and going on. Yeah, man, I hear you over there getting your grub on. How's everybody doing?
We're doing good, doing good.
Well, that's great. That's great. Oh, we're so formal. All right. We're so formal now. Oh, okay, all right.
Great.
How's everybody? I hope everybody day been good, man. Wonderful, fantastic, all that good stuff, man. But the one great thing about it, we still here, brother. We
Yes,
still
we
here.
are.
So
That's the best thing about it.
oh, absolutely. I want to give a shout out to Frankie and Johnny over there holding it down in our chat. Want to give a shout out. Let me drop that link in case and see if old brother Michael want to come up, because he probably would love to interact with this one. Let me see here. Yeah, man. So here we are, man. Here we are once again, man. Blessings to all, man. I'm glad we're here. We could talk about it, man. We can do it once again. Enjoy the company of these great brothers that's on this panel, man. And I look forward to seeing you guys each and every week in and week out, man, because it's a pleasure, hearing your viewpoints and giving definitely great things to talk about, man. And brother Chris, man, he brought this particular subject up, man, and that's what we about. We want to share thoughts that there's something that we might want to speak about. What's going on, my brother, Sir Miguel? What's up, my brother? What's happening? What's going on with you, brother? Blessings, man. Yeah, man, and I think it's a very serious thing that we need to speak about, because mental health and how can it affect your mental? How can it affect you mentally and physically? And I think it affects us in many ways in life, man. It can affect the person that you're with, around, friends, family. It can break down your health, man. I think that's a major problem. It can cause you to have hypertension, diabetes, all type of things, man, that it can cause, man. It's more hindrance than it is helpful. So I definitely would know that. I don't know if brother Chris is he still eating over there? Hey, people that's coming in, if you don't mind, would you please hit that like button so we can get this content out, so we can bring more positive things that's going on here over here at Circle of Gratitude. So could you please hit that like button? I would really appreciate it. We would really appreciate it. I would say that. Bro, Chris, you still stuffing your face, brother? Well, D,
Yes,
would you
sir.
like to? Huh? Say what,
I'll
now,
be with
brother?
y'all in a minute.
Okay, man. Well, okay, short intermission. Short intermission. Would you like to elaborate on that, brother D?
Man, mental health is definitely something that's big, man. Especially today. Man, you just never know what somebody going through, man.
Yeah,
You just never know.
yeah. You never know, man. Um, we touched on it a little bit earlier, man. We spoke about it, man, and I told you one main thing that I've seen far as mental health, man, is sometimes we just have to be a listening ear, because just a listening ear can definitely change a person's outlook of whatever they might be going through. I'm not saying it's always 100% proof, but someone, if it's different when a person don't know if they have anybody to speak to, anybody to talk to. Anybody
A lot
that
of people usually don't. They don't have no one to go to, or they scared that, you know, they business gonna be leaked out to everybody across the land, and it's a lot of stuff, man. A lot of people don't want everybody in they mix.
but you know what? One of the problems with that is instead of sharing for a helpful hand. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me hold this down. Hey, sexy May, how you doing? How you doing, big sis? Yeah, but a lot of people. What happens is a lot of people tend to, they don't want to. They'd rather share it to talk amongst each other about it instead of trying to do something to help that person. And it can that's what hurts a person, because if a person confide in you about something they're going through, it tends to and they find out otherwise, then now it becomes a problem, and now they figure they have no one, you know. So we just have to know that here we are to, and I guess this is something that's we sharing here on Circle Gratitude to help people that might be going through something mental health. Nobody's here has a PhD, but we can give you our life experiences in order to help someone. Through wherever they might go through. They might be having challenges of mental health far as relationships, or might be going through mental health with making decisions, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like it becomes a stressful point in their lives. But sometimes decisions can stress us out so much where it would break us down because we don't know about those decisions. I mean, the far as to making that it might be a decision, it might be a life-changing decision. You never know, but it can be stressful, but it can also play a part on you mentally and physically. So we have to be careful how we address people, how we come at people, and some things that don't always take arguments to be argumentative and combative. When it comes to a lot of things, is you can always take the humble approach, because humbling ourselves is definitely something that we need to learn how to, even though some things sometimes it's hard, but we have to begin to start humbling ourselves, because it's not only for that person, but it's also for ourselves. Because as well as if we go back and forth with a person, it can also put a damper on us, or put something on our, make our stress levels go high, or our anxiety go crazy, or whatever the case may be. It can tend to put bad things on your mental health. You know what I mean? So are you ready, brother Chris? I mean, I was just trying to elaborate since we brought this topic up, which I can speak on it, but I just want to know. I know maybe it might have been a particular reason that you might have brought this topic up, and I just want you to share it.
Yeah, I got I have several friends, family members I know that actually is going through something mentally right now, but they don't, they'll, as what Dion was saying earlier, they'll ask you a question or say something, and they keep asking you the same question over and over again, and then when you try to hit on it, like something, they bypass you. They started loud talking you. Oh yeah, whatever, yeah. But as far as mental health, as far as Black men, we need more like going to a psychiatrist. We need to have group meetings among Black men to talk, and that's one thing we don't do. We don't talk about mental health or our health.
Right.
As far as the people that I know mental health, I got an uncle who's going through that. My mother died, my grandmother died, and I'm seeing it firsthand. Mentally, he's out.
Right.
Mentally he's out. But people say, "Oh, that's Uncle Milton. That's all he's always been." But I always say that's mental. And I try to talk to him, but he doesn't want to get no help or nothing like that. Even his son doesn't want it. And we all try to talk. Me and my cousin, we try to talk to him as a group, but he don't want to hear it. And we know he's mentally not there. He's out. because you're losing, the loss of family, the person who's been by your side, that can cause a very mental breakdown amongst the strongest men in the world because that's your loved one. Or a woman losing their wife, they're losing their husband, or vice versa. Or losing a kid too. A lot of people have lost their children. I recently had family members that lost their kid and they're going through it right now because that was their only child.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's something that they don't want to talk about because one's in the military, one's not, and you try to be tough on the outside, but mentally he's not there. And his aunt, which his mother passed away, his aunt was telling him he probably needs to go to counseling for it, but tough guys don't do that, as they say.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. I think in society, man. You know that either it's not that ain't gonna happen to me, or I don't need that. And I think that becomes a problem because you never know your mental state until something come across you can be life changing, or even with yourself or with someone around you. You losing a loved one. It can definitely put a damper on, you know, what you might be going through in life, man. And you try to better yourself and you try to stay strong, but in reality, I don't think nobody's better than nobody as far as getting help or maybe talking to someone, you know what I'm saying? Because you can't continue to hold all those type of things in without letting someone know that you could trust them to confide in. Because I've had honestly, I've had strangers, man, just really walk up to me and start telling me their life story. And at that point, I just be a listening ear. Because nobody want to feel like they're being judged by when they're telling you something that they might have went through, or maybe something the thought process that they might have had that moment. You know what I mean? It might sound crazy and outrageous, but what you can do is just really just speak to a person and just try to, be humble and listen, and then, really try to keep yourself together and be strong for that person. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because I've found times that I've been around a person, man, and I've been going through maybe something, but I put mine to the side because you think when your situation is bad, someone else worse.
Yep.
So we have to be stronger, especially as we see in today's society, man, what's been going on, that between all these mass shootings and murders and stuff of that nature, man, and even with people bickering between each other because of something else, man, it don't make sense. But those things can change a person's mental, especially when, just imagine you confide in somebody and they turn their back on you, or a person being loyal and they turn their back on you. That can mess with your mental state.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because you believed in your mind and your body and your soul that person was going, that you wouldn't think that they would do that. So that can play a part on your mental state. So, and it can affect you physically, you know what I'm saying? So I think we should be able to, like even talk, like you stated, man, groups, and talk to each other, man, because sometimes, they might not want to seek professional, but sometimes we can all be professional in our own way because of life experiences. You see what I'm saying? Something that you might have went through similar, or maybe something that, you've seen someone else go through and how they dealt with it. You can definitely hurt, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, you can help. I mean, you know what I mean? So those can be the type of things that we can do as men, you know what I'm saying? And we have to be strong, to, and like I said, I'm not saying putting yourself to the side and just say you're not important, but sometimes people be going through a lot of things in their life, man. And it's how many times have we seen things, but like, man, I didn't think that dude would do that, or I didn't think that lady would do that, man. But you never know what a person's mental state be. You try to understand, but then but you can't blow it off, because a person might just reach out. Like if I pick up the phone to you, hey Chris, what you doing? And I'm just holding the phone, but you probably know, you might know something on my mind, but it's sometimes people will just say, "Oh, okay, well, hey man, look, I'm busy, man. I got I'll holler at you later." But that might be a moment that they might have been reaching out to you. I'm not saying sit up here and just hold the phone and play the holding game, but you might could say, "Hey, what's on your mind?" You know what I mean? And person probably wants you to say that. What's on your mind? What you got going on? But some of us, man, but life happens, man. We all get into our own lives, our own families, our own, work and different things of that nature. But sometimes it don't hurt to just take out a few minutes to hear somebody out, because that might be their breaking point. They might want to harm themselves or harm someone else.
True.
You know what I'm saying? But if we just sit there and listen, sometimes that can make a big difference, man, and change somebody. Man, I know a kid one day, man. I was a matter of fact, I just got to Florida, and this young man was just talking, and he was like, you know how they say, "Hey, old school, what's going on, man?" I'm like, "Oh, ain't nothing, man. How you doing?" He's like, "Oh, man, nothing, man. I'm just, just living life, man." I was like, "Oh, okay." And he was like, "Yeah, man." He say, "Yeah, man, I just got a lot going on. My girlfriend left me, did this, just going on about his life, man." And I listened to him, and I was quiet. I just sat there and listened to him. We talked for about 30, 40 minutes, man. And that young cat said, "Man, you just don't know how much you changed." And then I'm not trying to take no admiration for this of any kind, but it's just the point of listening to that cat. He don't know if he was really trying to go, do something to his girlfriend because she left him or whatever the case may be. You see what I'm saying? So it made a difference. You know what I'm saying? I haven't seen him since, but hopefully that that talk was listening, and I just gave him my opinion on different things of how he might can deal with it.
Yeah.
So sometimes, like I said, we have to listen, man, and like I said, it ain't just people that you know. Sometimes it might be somebody that you don't even know.
Yep. People.
You gotta listen.
What you say, D?
Say, yeah, listening is the key, man. Before you start speaking, you gotta listen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's
man. And like I said, those little type of things like that can make a big difference, man. But as we see, man, like I said, mental health is really, really, really serious today, man. And I really knew that we had crazy people of color. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we knew that, but they were just who they were. They were just, a little off the rock a little bit. But now it's like it's to another level, and it's probably the people that you would never think that would do things that would be crazy or out the way, man. And you'd be like, "Man, I would have never thought that person would did this." You know what I'm saying? But we never know what a person is going through or what pushed him over the edge. You know what I'm saying? And we have to understand what people go through, and like I said, it goes back to the same thing. Just hear them out, man. Just hear them out we got to, man. So bro, Strick, you kind of quiet over there, big brother. You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just listening. And look, I'm a firm advocate of therapy. I'm a firm advocate of communicating with other people, especially because that's a therapy in itself. Therapy can be utilized in so many different ways, but professional therapy is always helpful. And I consider myself, I don't know what would be an alpha than what I've been or what I've done, but I can tell you that therapy has helped me. This group helps. It's important because we usually don't speak up, but mental illness affects everybody. If you live in a bubble and you don't get input from other people and what's going on, people, especially in our culture, we tend to keep things to ourselves. It's always, don't tell people your business, keep your business in our house or whatever that is. But what happens when you do that is it's secrets. I always tell people secrets hurt. Secrets hurt people. There's no reason for an individual that's going through mental anguish of any sort that they should not be able to address it with someone and it be considered to be something serious, because mental illness is just as traumatic as being cut or stabbed or shot. depending on what your mental illness is. So when you listen to people and what they're going through, sometimes you know, when we was growing up, we saw mental problems. You know what I'm saying? We saw it because that's the only thing we thought was the apparent mental disabilities of Down syndrome of individuals when they were visible, you know, but not realizing that there are inner things that we didn't pay attention to, the bipolarism, the anxieties, the depression, the schizophrenia, these things you can't see. You know, you may be, if you're with a trained eye. I mean, I've been on the streets for years. I saw and I know those things, but the average Joe doesn't know those things, and they don't know when their kids are going in the spectrum, or, you know, so by the time we find out, sometimes it's too late, or it's so hard to deal with at that time. So it's just something we have to keep an eye on and not be afraid to address, because, you know, it's just like anything else. You know, when people talk about drugs, they don't look at it. They always want to say they're a drug addict, a crackhead, or this, but that's an illness. You know what I'm saying? That's a true illness. It's a physical dependence on something. And you can address it and say what people will do with or without it. But the reality is, it is a physical illness. And that's the same thing that we have to look at mental illness. We have to look at it as an issue of how. I have a 23-year-old neighbor's son, someone I grew up with, son, walked in front of a train, 23 years old, in the Bronx. Just walked, and this is 3 weeks ago, just walked in front of a train, you know, because he hadn't been taking his medication. He was going through things, got a job, you know, but he just walked in front of a train. Didn't get pushed. That's heavy, you know. It breaks my heart to know that someone would go through that kind of anguish and have nothing to reach, nowhere to reach to, you know. So sometimes it's important to listen. A lot of times, you know, because I myself have gone through some things and have been in great positions, but it doesn't eliminate your ability to be affected by emotional turmoil. No matter what you do, it can affect anyone, because we all go through traumatic things. We all have, you know, like Brother Chris and Dee was saying, you know, we have deaths, we have births, we have all kinds of things. We have separation, we have this, we have divorce, everyone goes through an emotional turmoil. Just depends on how it affects you and how you have the tools to deal with those issues. As you were growing up, you know, we all get tools when things happen. We learn to cope with things. So your coping mechanisms they're usually tarnished when you have mental issues. You know, sometimes it can be very difficult, though. It can be very difficult.
Yep. And you know, I have found out that I know one of the main factors of what during this time of the pandemic, it really changed a lot of people mentally. From far as domestic violence had went to an extreme high, suicides, divorces, breakups. It went to, you know, levels that we hadn't seen in a long time. You know,
the medical pandemic caused an emotional pandemic problem and a mental pandemic problem, because we were all isolated. We were all fearful. There were things that happened. Look, it's tantamount to the whole world getting the black man's disease for a while. That's what it was, because we are culture shocked, but in our own existence, we're culture shocked and suffer from PTSD on so many different levels because of what we deal with on a daily basis. So imagine that, and compounded with COVID and everything else. So of course, there was a lot of mental issues going on, a lot of breakdowns.
And you know, and it's amazing that how, you know, traumatic it can be when, as far as on your mental state, with, you know, some women that deals with, you know, physical abuse throughout their lives, or even or you being physically abused as a child,
or men.
Or men, yeah, no, or men, yeah, I would agree. I'm not.
I can raise my hand up to one of those victims.
Yeah, right. So yeah, so that could be traumatic, and that could definitely play on put on your mental state. And I think it's some things that of course, that sometimes when us as men, you know, we have an ego, you know, like, you know, you hear something about not sexual, what I'm looking for, sexual advancements or anything, you know, and a man and be like, oh no, I wouldn't say that because that's, you know, that's only for women, and I think that shouldn't be said like that, because why? Because, you know, we can, it can happen to us also, but you know, I think that plays a part on people's mental state, because now we're fighting with our ego, we're fighting with what's right, what's wrong, and all this other stuff. And I think, you know, we shouldn't have to do that, because was good. I would say what they used to say was good for the goose is good for the gander, and wrong is wrong. It don't matter how you look at it, from a male's perspective or a women's perspective, you know. So I think that's in my personal opinion, but I think it shouldn't be that way. So, I mean, you know, D, would you like to elaborate on that, brother?
Yeah, no, it really shouldn't be. Just, you know, when you need that help, man, you got to call on somebody, man. It's hard, though. It's hard, man. You got to take your time. You really do.
You know, I think sometimes when some of us go through mental things that's going on in our life, I think we know the answer, but we don't want to fix it. And I think that's a problem.
Because we want things to go our way, the way we want it to go.
Hold on. Repeat that, chat.
I said, I forgot what I was about to say. I forgot. Would you? I ain't gonna lie, I forgot.
No, well, what I thought you said, what I got from what you said is that you believe that sometimes people are unwilling to recognize their problems. Is what you're saying?
Well, let me say this. Not to that extent, but I'm meaning that some people know how to fix these problems, but they don't take action on what they need to do to fix it.
I think what happens, I think it's a misunderstanding, because with mental illness and with people that sometimes they feel like they're good when they're taking their drugs for a long period of time, they feel normal and they stop taking them, or they don't want to take them because it has a negative effect on them. But I don't think any one of them knows specifically how to stop the behaviors, because if they did, I think they would, because they don't want the behaviors. Like, look, I suffer from anxiety, and I can be honest about that. I have no problem with it. I can tell you, having an anxiety attack was probably one of the most terrifying things I had ever experienced. And I'm telling you, I've been through a lot of stuff. But to go through something where your mind is telling you that your body is failing you, but your body's not failing you, but that's what your mind's telling you. And you go into a state of just fear, and it's fear of imminent death, but you have no control of it. Like you're falling, you know, you ever see that commercial where you see the letters falling out of the lady's chest? She's talking about anxiety, because you got things happening and you got no control over it. And you don't know what's going on, and it's happening to your body. So it's hard to say when an individual is going through something and not able to, or able to correct it and not willing to, because sometimes you just don't know what's going on. And I think that's 99% of the individuals that have mental illness.
No, and I get what you're saying. And I wasn't meaning it in that type of aspect, but that was a good point. No, I was speaking on some people before they get to that state. I'm talking about a person that's normal. And basically sometimes they put themselves through things, and it bothers them mentally.
And you don't know
it. Well, some people know. Well, and the reason it's just like you keep bumping your head and you keep bumping your head, you keep bumping your head.
But is that mental illness or is that stupidity? Which one is it?
Oh, that's a good one.
I mean, because Chris, I'm sorry.
No, I think it's stupidity. I think it's.
Oh, I was going to agree with you on that. It's stupidity.
Yeah,
but I'm saying, I'm not talking about a person that's truly going through anxiety and depression and stuff of that nature, because I know that's things are uncontrollable. You know what I'm saying? But I'm speaking on a person that, like you said, stupidity. And I was just really just shifting to that point to know that people are really people that really have. That's why I was going with it. That people really have problems and issues and stuff of that nature. But then you have this person over here that continuously do the same thing over and over and over and over when they know know how to solve that problem, but they just continue doing the same thing over and over. So that's where I was going with. I wasn't going with on that note, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I was saying that straight.
Oh no, I was building on what you were saying though.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, man.
It's just, I mean, because it's so prevalent. I mean, I have family members, things that I did not know were, if we don't speak about these things, because, in our culture, we don't talk about the crazy ones in the family.
Nope.
That's the one that stay in the room, Right. Don't mess with them. Don't sit next to them at Thanksgiving or her or whoever it is. We just know they crazy and just let them do their thing. But we don't talk about it. You know what I'm saying?
We all normal. See, we think we all normal, but we ain't.
Nah, we not normal, man. There's not a normal, functional family in the United States. I'm sorry. These
Man, we didn't know nothing about mental health until now, because back then, growing up, mental health wasn't even really a main factor.
It wasn't a factor.
It wasn't. No one knew. I didn't know nothing about mental health.
Yeah, we had
until like today.
I had never heard the term until now. I didn't know anything about being totally honest with you guys. I didn't know nothing about the word anxiety until I got with my wife.
Oh, really?
I didn't have a clue.
Well, you know what? You're not the only one, because I didn't know until it happened to me what it was about. Even though I knew people that were going through it, I didn't know what they were going through, and I was like, something's wrong with me.
No, I'm listening to you, bro.
No, I was saying something's wrong. I would see people going through the panic attacks and anxiety and didn't know what it was and just thought they was just that crazy.
Right. Yeah, I just knew maybe, they say, oh, a person having a panic attack. Okay. But when they start putting it far as anxiety, I didn't have a clue what that was. I was like, what? She said, I have anxiety. I'm like, what is anxiety? And I had to look it up to actually find out what it was, because I had no clue of what it was. You know what I'm saying?
Indescribable urge of fear and panic. There's no physical reason for it.
Right. And it makes you feel like you like she told me, your chest tightening, you can't breathe, and that's I didn't know nothing of that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but then now I know and I understand what when they have actually medications to deal with it,
and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't.
Yeah, true. I mean, and she does say that too, though. She says that. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't, you know what I mean? But we all kind of know what helps with anxiety naturally. But anyway,
prayer.
Huh?
What does anxiety naturally? What helps naturally?
What state do you live in? First, what state do you live in? That's what we need to know.
I live in Texas.
You live in Texas? Well, whatever. Yeah. You live in a state where it's not legal, so don't worry about it. All right?
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, it ain't legal. Hey, what you doing?
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who does that for anxiety. And you know what? You can do that. My sister-in-law, our partner, she takes those gummies for anxiety. Those gummy bears. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
But
that's the thing. I mean, I think if I suffered from it, I think I would be the same way, man. But and it's natural. I mean, it's a natural herb. It's a natural what it is. You know what I mean? Some people look at it as in a negative way, but man, look, when you do it you do it, but you got purpose behind it, man. You know what I'm saying?
Like I said, let's not do it until it becomes legal. All I'm saying. I think that we should abide by whatever the laws of the land say.
The laws of the land. That's what it say, man. But yeah, man. But you know, I mean, like I said, it's like you wonder, man. It's like when and Strick probably can elaborate on this truly because he by here being in law enforcement. But like some of these mass shootings, and it's crazy because I've seen some of them. They'll say, "Oh, they've been knowing this a year ago. They've been knowing this a year and a half ago." But you let this person go, and then a year later, here comes mass shootings. You know what I'm saying? Did you not see the problem from the beginning? I mean, what's the problem with that?
Well, I can tell you one thing. To me, when that comes to mass shooting, it's more of an aerial problem, but also a race problem. Because sometimes when you say they saw it from a year or two ago, but he won't do that. He's not that type of person. He comes from a good home. He's got mom and dad. He's got everything he wanted in life. Then all of a sudden he shoots up the school.
Yeah,
that's what I wholeheartedly believe in that.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree.
You have a lot of poor people who can do more. People who unfortunately don't have enough as others can do that, but they don't. Have you ever heard of a poor kid going to his school to shoot up school?
Yep.
Man.
You know that's crazy because you know what? Not saying it's not possible, but even back in the day, you wouldn't, as a young kid, you wouldn't even think about bringing a weapon to school because you'll get your head beat.
Hey.
I brought a knife.
I was in the 6th grade when I brought a gun to school.
Yeah, I ain't bring no gun to school. I brought a knife, but
I was in the 6th grade.
From the book, right, Trent?
Yeah, in the 6th grade. I got kicked out of school. Kid shot it out in the schoolyard first day.
This is in New York? You did this in New York?
Yeah, first day we was out of school.
Damn.
Michelangelo. First day we was out of school, out in the yard for play. And I rented the gun to a kid for $5. I was a kid. I didn't know what I was doing. And he shot it off in the yard.
Wow.
For 2 days they were trying to figure out whose gun it was.
But you ain't think about no mass shooting. That's basically what I'm.
No. I wasn't saying it in that context. I was saying in the sense that we do things. I'm just saying that. Look. We are going to continue to have these mass shootings. Let's just be clear. They're going to continue to happen. All right. And there will be a diversity of individuals that will conduct these mass shootings, whether they be Black, white, Asian, Hispanic. They will continue to happen. And they will happen on the levels of individuals that possess firearms. So there's a larger population right now of white people that have firearms. You might see a larger population of those that may conduct activities like that because there's going to be a greater population of mental illness in that group of people. And there'll be a smaller group in the Hispanic and a smaller group in the Black. But these things will continue to happen, unfortunately.
Okay, so
go ahead.
Go ahead, Strick. I'm sorry.
There's just no clear way. I just tell people to be aware of your surroundings. I don't believe people should just go out and get firearms like they've been doing, because I know many people that shouldn't be carrying firearms. But the thing is that you just need to be aware of your surroundings and don't be in crowded places all the time when things like that can happen. That's just me. Right. Hey, if you want to live free and say, look, I'm not going to let this harbor me or be terrorized by it and choose that, then you should live your life and do what you want to do. Not to say that, it's a bad thing. It's just that it's going to continue to happen. You just don't know when it's going to happen.
Okay, so let me ask you guys one thing, man. Since we're speaking on that, and I want to hear everybody's opinion on it. What do you think about what's the difference now from back then to now as far as the mass shootings? Which I know they had mass shootings back in the day. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying to this level right now.
Maybe the proliferation of firearms in the United States, the 350 million firearms that are out here.
And not everybody's mentally capable, as you say, right?
Shoot, I bet they ain't.
Yeah, you're right about that. Because I mean, it's you would think that it put fear in certain people. Certain people it put fear in that they're not gonna go nowhere. You got some people with fear that they want to go buy more guns. So I don't know.
You know, when they do that, it's always look in the state that I'm in. They made it very difficult to get a concealed handgun license. Very difficult.
Yeah, I know.
They ran you through the rim. You had to do this, you had to do that, you had to do this, you had to do that. But what happened was there was a large amount of individuals that were getting firearms. And they started to notice it, I believe. And then they said, hold on. We don't need to make it that difficult for you to get a firearm. Everybody can carry one. No problem, just carry one. As long as you ain't committing no felony, as long as you no felony, you can go buy a gun, put it in your pocket. Now we got young men walking around in their sweats with 9mm hanging out their pockets.
Wow.
People that are barely mature enough to make decisions and wise enough to make decisions on their everyday living, but now you're giving them the ability to carry a firearm. Now, why did you do that? Why did you do that?
So they didn't raise it to 21, or it's still 21 or 18?
I think 18 to get a rifle or something, man. But to get a handgun, you got to be 21.
The thing is, everyone can carry a firearm. You don't need a permit or nothing. Go buy it, put it in your pocket, and let's go.
Wow.
And that's what they're doing.
That is crazy. That is crazy.
And these young men,
it's scary too, man, because like you said, not everybody's mentally, their mental capacity, man, is
until you're in a position where you're in a don't shoot position, you don't know. You don't know. And these kids do it in anger.
And what they say, they used to say, ask questions, then shoot. No, they shoot and then ask questions later.
Yeah,
that's their mindset, man. Grab a gun.
Well, in Texas, I know in Florida it was really big on the news that what's that thing? Not like you're afraid of what's it called? It's
Stand
you're afraid of
stand your ground.
Stand your ground. Yeah, and say you can look at it. I'm standing my ground because he was looking at me funny.
That's a nonsense. It's a nonsense law. It really is.
Yeah.
It's really ridiculous. Because it falls into the same category of vagueness of the 5 to 99 rule that they have. You know what I'm saying? Oh, stand your ground. Was he standing his ground or was he not? It's up to the interpretation of the individuals that are in the judgment. And to me, that's not definitive enough. You can't have a law that's so biased and can be presented in a biased way. It's just doesn't stand your ground. Nah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that law is very vague, though. I could agree with you on that, though.
It leads to being vague. Look at the young man that got killed by the guy that got off. He was actually pursuing the young man. Where's stand your ground? That's what.
I thought too when you're supposed to be in threat. I mean, in fear of your life, and that wasn't in fear of his life. Of course.
So how was that law interpreted in that situation where it was clear that he was interfering with something he had no business interfering with? It wasn't a stand your ground incident, but that's what they utilized to defend him because he was what? He wasn't a black male, or a brown male. To that extent.
But wasn't he told by dispatch to stand down?
Huh?
He was told by dispatch not to stand down.
Well, also his father was a Superior Court judge in Virginia, so.
Oh, okay. Say less.
Okay.
Yeah, say less. So that means somebody called in some favors around that.
I don't know what anybody did, but I know that to me that seems to be you clearly have an individual that says something that look, stay back, don't go, stay where you're at, don't pursue the individual. That's an official on the dispatch saying it. And he's going and doing it anyway. So if you're going to use a law like stand your ground for someone that does something that's so depraved in regards to the law, then what's the sense in having a law like stand your ground? You know what I mean? Well, I think when the young lady was getting beat up and she shot in the air. She shot in Florida, the air.
Yeah. And they gave her 20 years.
You see what I'm saying?
She didn't hit nobody.
Same state.
Same state.
So again, we have these pro-like laws that are meant to do what? I mean, these are just my opinions, of course, but you know.
I mean, but it's a great opinion. I must say, but it's facts, really. Though, being honest with you.
I mean,
You know, I mean, it's horrible, but it's the truth, man. I mean,
and when you have a situation in the society where they turn around and they've closed all of the mental illness, mental hospitals. You know, they closed all the state hospitals. They don't have any more state mental hospitals. They used to have state mental hospitals.
yeah.
Right? So now they don't have them. So where do you put these people? They're on the street. They're in jail. They're in people's houses. That's where they are.
Yeah.
So there's no official process other than let me give you a check. You know,
That ain't the answer though.
But, you know, when you tell them poor people we're gonna give you a check, what they gonna do?
They're gonna jump on it.
They're gonna jump on it. I seen a lady hold a baby up that wasn't 3 months old, and she said, "Yeah, we'll be fine when we get the check for the baby." I said, "The check for the baby for what?" She said, "You see that baby slow? You can tell that baby's slow." What? 3 months? What you wow. Grandma saying it. Grandma, she like, you gonna get, I'm like, so you done put this baby on Social Security already.
That shit's sad, man. That's sad, bro.
Brother. That's sad. But see, now the thing is that what now what are you doing when you start? We have mental illness, yes, but then we have society induced illness because now you're gonna give these people some money and they're gonna say, well, you know, we got to give your kid some medication. He got to take this Ritalin. And what you gonna do? You're gonna get a kid Ritalin, ain't you? Because you believe he's slow. He's slow.
That's another thing that was. I mean, I know they had it back in the day, but I don't remember you got your butt whooped, man. I mean, I didn't see kids doing a lot of things back in the day like that, man.
I'm like D. I got my butt whooped so much, man. I forgot what it was about. Just go and do what you're gonna do.
Don't get it out the way, man.
Get out the way.
Yeah.
But
man.
I'm a quote what Strick was saying about societal. You know, people. I know people personally who get a check who ain't crazy.
Yeah.
And they get a check, and then they'll go get a cash job somewhere. I know several people.
Look, not even that. Not like this. That, Chris.
It's the way you do things. You can get a check. I'm like, for real? Why?
It's when you do it generationally. That's what bugs me. It's generational. When you're doing it to your grandkids because you did it to your kids and you was getting one. And now your grandkids, they're going to be messed up and they're going to have to do it. They're going to go out there and reproduce and they're going to do the same thing. You know? Do the same thing. And that perpetuates a bad life for a whole bunch of people. You know?
Yeah, that's definitely a horrible situation. I mean, because you think about it, two mental people having a kid, that kid ain't got a chance.
No, ain't got a chance.
Ain't got a chance.
And you don't have a chance because even if you're not mentally ill, and when that happens to you, when you're in this community we're in, when that happens, even though that kid isn't mentally ill, when you start medicating him, he becomes mentally ill.
Oh, absolutely. Induced.
He becomes mentally ill. And that's why I say it's induced by society.
Yeah.
In many cases, because now you put the bone out there. Hey, look, you know, if your kid has some, you know, little setbacks of reach this little scale of autism or whatever it is, we can give you a check. Really? You can give me a check. Well, how much is that check? Well, you know, it's gonna cover this, it's gonna cover that. Well, okay, all right, shoot, let's go and do it. And they do it.
Like you making a decision to get a car or something. You gonna buy a house.
Your kid is in special ed. He ain't learning. Now there's kids that need to be in special ed that need to be taught that way. But yours, you're gonna make it that way. That's bad. And it happens. And all of us know somebody that does it.
Yeah.
All of us know somebody that does it.
Trick, that's like back in the days when people was working and getting welfare and food stamps. Hey, girl, you know how to play that game. We knew what everybody there was doing. I knew a lot of people in the 80s that did it.
You know, I knew somebody that was getting food stamps in New Jersey, in New York, and Philadelphia. Getting food stamps in all 3 states.
Wow.
You know, and now they're doing it mentally. Now I'm getting this check, I'm getting that check, and I don't get it. I got cousins my age,
I'm
almost 50 years
scared.
old, getting paid, and I'm like, for real? Well, it's a game. It's a game how you play because there's certain doctors that'll do it for you
Mr.
because they
Chris,
probably get the pushback.
Mr. Chris, I ain't gonna lie to
Yeah.
you. I'm scared. Ain't no way in the world I'm doing. Look, even when I was on the job, look here, you couldn't get me to do something. You better not do nothing in front of me because I'm telling you. You hear me? Don't do it. If you don't want me to say nothing, don't do it.
Whistleblowers.
Look, I'm scared. I'll beat anybody up, you hear me? We can fight. But when it comes to certain things, man, look here. I don't test fate. I don't test fate.
Yeah, man. No, that's crazy, man.
Yeah,
That's crazy. But it's such a serious. Now it's super. Man, to me, it's more serious than it's been in a long time, man. I mean, to me, that's just my opinion, but I just feel that it's such a serious thing that it don't want to be discussed. You know, you know, like you say, you cutting out programs. I mean, it's like you'd rather give money and just sweep the real problem under the table. I mean, I don't get that.
What's crazy is that this has been going on so long in so many different ways. I remember working in a board of education in Orange, New Jersey, and as I worked it was a summer job, and I was detailed to go work at the board, the school district board, which ran maybe Orange, South Orange, East Orange, and of course, each district is separated by what we all know is normally separated by. But one of my jobs was to take the old books that went from their school and bring it to another high school, which of course was Black, and the other school was getting the new books.
Wow.
I'm supposed to be organizing this, and I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I mean, I'm stamping it. I'm blacking out one stamp to put another stamp on it. But I'm blacking out the stamp where predominantly the school tax bracket was higher. So, you know, I'm trying not to be, you know, but the thing is that it was definitely obvious. And this was 40 years ago, 30 years ago, bro.
Wow.
They was literally doing, or the meat would come from one area to the lower area, and you take the sticker off. You know, you ever see meat? Yeah. Well, back in the day, they used to sticker the meat with a machine. You know, where they stab it with the hand and they put the date on it. You know, and the price on it. And
right.
Peel it off. It would say on the East Orange store, you peel off that sticker to say South Orange on it, and it have a different date on it. So it was actually coming from their side of town, and when they got tired of it, they put it in that side of town. Meat. This is meat we're talking about.
Wow.
That's something else.
So
That's something else. Yeah, that
how
is.
many different levels has things happened? These are things that I've observed. So how many things happen that you might not have seen, or you might not have seen, Brother D or Brother Chris? You know what I'm saying? But when we look at it, because you know, when I started seeing that very young, of course, I was preempted to look at it even further in situations. So that's what made me want to be the just or do the right thing officer, not Mr. Officer Friendly, but you know, try and do the right thing. Anyway.
Wow. Yeah,
They call unhealthy. They call people getting sick and help and not. Man, that causes a lot of stuff with that.
Yeah. But that's all of these things contribute to an anguish that perpetuates things like PTSD and anxiety and emotional distress. You know, having to maneuver through the society that we maneuver in. Some of us have been we've been very blessed, not just lucky. We've been very blessed because we are where we are. We've gone through what we've gone through, you know. But at the same time, we had the tools to go through it. Now these brothers out here and these sisters out here, sometimes, man, they're not forfeited the opportunity to get those tools. So now what do you have? You know?
Right.
What do you have? You know,
well, it should be each other, man. But you know, of course, we know that's not the fact. You know what I mean? That's
but we have to perpetuate it some way. You know, if it's nothing by our conversation to, you know, be open enough to say what needs to be said and stand by it, or be willing to listen to what somebody else says to better understand what you're thinking. Okay.
Right.
You know.
But I think sometimes I think the fear of judgment plays a part into some people, man, because
Always.
you know what I mean. And it's like if you
Always.
it's like if you tell me something, you thinking I'm gonna judge you versus just giving you listening or whatever the case may be, or or Chris.
Judgment is almost part of nature in a sense. You know, I'm not saying that you should be critically judged, but a judgment is it's an evaluation of a concept. That's all it is. It's an evaluation of a concept. Now, the question is that are you going to take that judgment and you're going to demean that individual for what you understand, how you understand things? If that's what you're going to do, you're not being productive. You know.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You know, why would you do that?
Hey D, remember we was talking about that earlier? Remember?
Yeah, we was.
We was talking about that exact what you just said, Strick. That's what I'm saying. But a person shouldn't, like you said, you shouldn't demean nobody, or, because, why are you doing that? Instead of me, that's why I say sometimes you have to listen instead of trying to judge a person and try to tell them, like, I shouldn't tell you, well, Strick, you need to do this. D, you need to do this. Chris, you need to do this, versus listening to you and giving a positive response to what you stating to me. You know what I'm saying? Now, not in all sense, because I'd rather not say nothing to you versus me trying to tell you something negative. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. I wouldn't do it. I would, well, of course we got that relation, but I wouldn't do that to nobody. I wouldn't do that to a perfect stranger. You know what I'm saying? To just judge them by, just to tell them something. Like if you come and tell me, well, Shaq, I got this going on, and I'll be like, well, you should do this, man. Even though you have your own mind, but when a person is in a vulnerable state, sometimes they might not do it exactly, but they might do something foolish because of hearing that. And what if they got this other person in their other ear telling them the same thing? You remember that little devil and the angel? You remember that? Over here they telling you to do this, and over here he telling you to do that. In a way, that's the way it happens, and the person playing between each other to try to figure out what's the right thing, which because their mind is so fogged. Their brain is fogged in a lot of ways. You know what I'm saying? And it shouldn't be that way. But that's how it happens, man, in life, man. I mean, I've seen people do it to me sometime, man. I've seen they'll be like, oh, man, you should do this. Oh, you should do this. And going back and forth. But it had to be for me to, because I'm smart enough to analyze the situation and know that things are wrong. Something was wrong and right. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But sometimes, sometimes we get caught up in what sounds good at that moment. You know what I'm saying?
Making that grass green.
You're right. Oh, my wife said, my wife told me this. Oh, man, you should go in there and just slap her across her head. You know what I mean? You know what? That sounds pretty good. I should go slap upside her head.
Open hand or closed?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Man, look here, man. Why don't you just punch her in the face? You know what I mean? That type of stuff, But that ain't the correct thing with it. Man, why don't you, but people give because I found out that people when they going through something, they want everybody to hurt.
I don't get that.
Yeah, they want everybody to hurt, man. You know what I'm saying? Because you going through something, you ain't gonna tell nobody nothing positive. You're gonna just go and say what you want to say because you feeling a certain type of way.
I don't get that though. You got people out there, you can't be happy around people. I used to come to work and I'm a type of dude. Now everybody might think I'm a simp, but I would do it for my meetings. I got these group of men, we all men, and we want food with this meeting. So I do pest control. So I would buy with my own money donuts and kolache. And then I'm like, hey, how you doing, everybody? Here you go. My boss come up to me. Why are you doing that? Why are you so happy? I said, shit, I'm working, making money. I'm just doing it because I want to. But over time, every time I would come in and say, hey, how you doing? He was like he would always get discussed. And I'm like, but why are you? Because you're not happy. Don't mean I'm not going to be happy.
I just told him, man, I get some every morning before I come to work.
Well, he probably still get that. But I ain't get it. Man, once I put my 10 toes down, bro, I'm blessed. When I open my eyes, I'm blessed. So, I'm always going to be happy.
Absolutely. You have to look at you.
No matter what you do. Because you got people out here, bro, I ain't going to lie. You got a lot of people, bro, this, that. And I'm like, okay, I get what you're going through. But you can't stop me from going because I can't. Mm-hmm. And it's everybody. You get it from your in-house, your out-house. You know, your spouse can be that way sometimes. You just looking at it like, and then sometimes you're like, I'm married.
But you know, but some people bring, you know, they bring work home, they bring what happened
Oh,
to them at home, and you know, like I used to tell some of the drivers when I was at Metro, I said, yeah, man, you go in there, you beat the wife, you beat the kids, you even kick the dog, you know what I mean? You just that aggravated, you know what I mean? You didn't kick the cat, you know what I mean? You just walk in there just beating up everybody because you upset, you know what I'm saying? Instead of
yeah,
leaving that nonsense at work. You know what I'm saying? Because that
yeah,
can cause major confusions when you bring in work home, you know?
yeah, you got people that
So,
way.
you know, but
But
like I said, but you know, it happens, man. It happens with certain people, man. Um, and they have to learn to redirect some of that, you know, that negative energy into something positive, man. And I think that's what happens, you know, and I think that's sometimes what happens, you know, with mentally. I mean, people so consumed into negativity that they become that be a part of their life, you know, negativity. And then to me, that's a mental state because now you didn't went from a positive, as you say, a positive person. If you consumed yourself into how everybody else feel, wouldn't that play on your mental? You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't that make you turn into something that you're not?
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So why put yourself in that position? You know what I'm saying? You have to stand strong and believe in who you are. You know, I remember that very thing with my ex-wife, man. She used to always be like, you know, you this, you that. And I told her, you know, you just, you know, you just think you just everybody just like you and all this other stuff. And I used to be like, you know, so why wouldn't I don't go out my way to make a person like me. That's just my personality. But I always told her that you'll never change me who I am. You know what I'm saying? This is who I am. This is who I am. And I know what makes me feel good. And my goal is to make others feel good as well as myself. You know what I'm saying? Because my attitude can change a person's bad outlook on what they're going through in life. Not saying all the time, but hey, sometimes it can because somebody used to always say, do you ever get mad? Do you get upset? Of course I get mad. I'm gonna say I'm a human being. But it's about how do I let it consume me? I don't let that anger, I don't let what goes on around me consume me throughout my life. You see what I'm saying? I mean, we have, you know, and I guess that's one thing I have grown to do and control of that I have in my life because, like I said, because if I would just sit there and let everything that I experience turn me into who I'm not, then I'm not being true to who I am.
True.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, we have to be true, and I think there's a lot of us don't like to be true to who we are. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I mean, just be who you are because a person don't like this or a person don't like that, person don't like this. Well, guess what? I think you with the wrong person. Because you basically knew who I was when we walked in the door. When we first met and said, however we did it, you know who I was.
Yeah, you got people that
But
way,
now
man.
you want me to make this miraculous change and you want me to be who you want me to be, well, then to me that's a control factor. I mean, no, well, we ain't gonna make it no way. You know what I mean? That's just my personal opinion, but that's the way I feel about it. No, that ain't no personal opinion. That's my truth because I'm not gonna change who I am
Yeah,
because you
people.
want me to be a certain way.
Yeah,
You know,
you got that.
and I mean on the negative side. You see what I'm
Oh,
saying? You know what I mean? Because yeah, we all make changes, but I mean, far as me being a negative person, I'm not because you're negative. And then I wouldn't want to be around nobody that was negative. And I guess love was blind with me, my ex-wife, because I can't believe that I was with her that long and knowing that she's not the most positive person in the world. You know what I
yeah.
mean? But
God, if you don't be around that, bro. Trust me.
huh?
Trust me. You don't want to be around that type of person. Trust me. I've been with girls who've been that way, and I just like, yeah, you ain't for me because the way you acting, man, I got to, as my mama say, shy away from. Them. I
Yeah, yeah,
deuces
you
because
have to.
because
Because
I
I
can't
mean,
have negative in my house. That's the devil to me.
yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? And you know, like we talking about, you know, people, you see people like you walk out, you be in public, man, you see people frowning all the time. You see people like they mad at the world. Now we don't know what they might be going through at that moment, But then you got some people that you come in contact with on a regular basis. They never smile. They always frowning. You know what I'm saying? To me, where's their mental state? You know what I'm saying? I mean, because it's like, how could you wake up feeling the same way you feeling the next day? I mean, if your situation is that bad, you might need to reevaluate. That's just my personal opinion, but that's what I feel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but some people don't feel like that. They rather continue to be day in, day out, be frowning upon and whatever, you know what I'm saying? But funny thing, when we started talking about mental illness, man, it was this guy at work when I worked him. I think I told the story before that he was at Metro, man, for like 20 at that time, about 25 years, and I had only probably been there about like 8-9 years, maybe 10 at the most. And when I tell you, every day that dude complained, every day he complained and complained and complained. And I used to say, man, good, like, man, you better leave David alone, man. He might come up here and shoot up everything. I said, well, look, man. I said, look, he ain't did nothing to me, because I would try to crack a joke with him and do whatever. But you never know what people's mental state is, man. You know what I'm saying? What caused him to complain every single day of and I'm talking about, I worked with him for some years. So how good can that be for a person to continue to complain year after year after year after year, man? That have to play on your mental. That have to play on your mental. You know what I mean? I couldn't understand how a person could complain that much, man, and be okay with that, man. You know what I'm saying? But some people have that in them. Some people can just complain on a regular basis. Some people can just be okay with that, man. I don't know. Sometimes, let me see what you say, Frankie. Sometimes there's no way around that. Get up and feel the same way. It all depends.
What you're going through.
It all depends on what you're going through. Yeah, I mean, I could understand that too.
Mm-hmm.
But here goes the thing, though, Frankie. We know whatever we feeling, and it's not good. You can't, at some point you got to. So it got to be a some kind of point at some. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You gotta at some point. I mean, but you know what? But I'm gonna tell you something. The thing of which you're going through, Frank, it can only hinder you at that point. I mean, you might have to find a resolution to something. I mean, it might not be it might not be to solve it, but at some point you have to do something, because that when I was talking about how does it affect you mentally and physically, if it's breaking you down physically, what you do you just leave this world and just let it take over your work, take over you that much where you breaking down mentally and physically? You know what I mean? I mean, I'm just curious. I'm not disputing what you're saying, but I'm just saying that at some point you have to know that it can definitely put a real bad you can really do real bad as far as mentally and physically, because you know, I mean, like I said, some things we can change, some things we can't change. You know what I'm saying? And I know I know it's been situations where one thing we could do, we could change us, but we can't change people. You know what I mean?
True. True there.
You said I break down? Huh? Oh, I don't know. No, I'm just saying, I don't know what you're talking about on that note. Except for another thing. But yeah, man, but I just know that we just have to be who we are and try to help others and reach out and give them a helping hand, or give them positive instead of negative, in order for them to hopefully it would help them throughout their time. You know what I mean? Or help them some kind of way, or help them have a resolution to what they're going through. You know what I mean? You can only give a person a certain amount of advice but it's up to them that they have to work out things on their own to the point where, you know, we can give them something, but, you know, we can only help them so far. But hopefully, you know, things that they might be going through, that, you know, and I think you know, stay prayed up, and hopefully it would work itself out eventually. Because I know it can be very, when a person wakes up and think about different things in their lives, man, and they just see that it seems like it's no, you know, there's no positive, there's no silver lining to that cloud. But you have to know that there is, but it's just about your belief of what you believe in. Who's saying, who breaking down? Frank, I ain't really understand what you're saying. Do anybody understand what Frankie's saying? I don't understand. It might be because I'm cross-eyed at this moment anyway. But people, I know everybody's tired, and I know I am. But I just wanted to get on here, man, and share some our thoughts, you know, on our mental health. And Strick, I appreciate you, man, for sharing your outlook on a lot of things about far as mental and how it affects us mentally and physically. Yeah, so you know, so I just want to say I appreciate you, man, and I definitely, man, appreciate you, brother Chris. Look, D done dipped out on us, man. He going night. So, you know, I guess, you know, everybody got to get up in the AM, except somebody. I ain't gonna say no names.
Well, you know what? Thing about that, Shaq, is I literally haven't slept in 36 hours.
Wow, bro. Come on.
So, I know.
You need to get you some rest, bro.
I literally have not slept in 36 hours. So,
say, man, look, now you talking about something that you know, that's when you get delirious. Now, I mean, you know, you get to, I don't know, man, that can definitely affect you physically, bro. Mentally and physically.
It's called insomnia, though, bro.
Yeah, you know what? And you know, I could say that. You know, I could say that, but man, look, man, I get sleep. I'm gonna get some sleep now. That's one thing I am gonna get some sleep. Now maybe sometimes I don't sleep as like I should, but for the most part, man, I know usually the time I think the weekend is when I really catch up on a lot of my sleep. But yeah, man. Yeah, man. But man, look here, man. I'm gonna get some sleep, and surely my wife will. But she has a sense of insomnia to a certain extent. But she'll stay up and she'll be like, "Oh, I've been up. I'm still up. I'm still up." I'm like, why are you still up? You know? And she works at night, so you go figure. But the crazy thing about it is, which I didn't understand, you know what I'm saying, that she would get up and because she works at night, she'll still go to sleep at night. And I'm like, well, you know, usually it take me, when I work nights, it would take me like on weekends, I couldn't go to sleep during it. I couldn't go to sleep. I was going to go sleep during the day. I didn't want to sleep at night because I was so used to being up at night. Not her. She gonna sleep at night. Yeah, Frankie, I was stalking in general, like Big Sis say. I wasn't directing it to no one, nobody. So, yeah, that's what it was. But hey, I just want to thank everybody for coming in. Frankie and Johnny, Sexy Maeve, Casey sliding in and sliding out, brother Chris, brother Strick. I appreciate you, man. I mean, I appreciate y'all guys, man. Y'all coming in, giving your viewpoints on everything, man, and I appreciate that, man. I really do. And it's well appreciated, man, in more ways than you think it is, man. So I want to appreciate you, brothers, and man, like I said, man, we're gonna come up with another one, man. We could either do a part 2 to this, or we can do something different on Friday, man. I think I thought about something.
You said
You know what I'm
Friday.
saying? You know, so I just appreciate everybody, man, for y'all coming in and talking and giving us y'all viewpoint, man. But I want everybody to have a good rest of your week. It's Monday. We ain't got nothing but a few more to go. So hopefully we can get through this week, man, and do it again on Friday. What you say about that, brothers?
Oh, we'll do it
Ready,
again.
brother.
Hey,
You
man.
said Friday?
Yeah, you know Friday. You know I use it Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Oh, I thought you.
Oh
Yeah, that'll
Lord.
work.
Look. We look like we all need to get some rest then.
Mm-hmm.
I know I gotta get up early.
Monday.
Yeah, me too. I gotta get up like at 4:30.
Hey man, later.
All
I don't know.
I want y'all to be easy, all right?
right,
Yeah,
brother.
You
Hey
too.
man,
You too.
y'all take care, man.
Oh.
I appreciate it, man. All right, bro, Chris.
All right now.
Ladies, I appreciate you, ladies, in that chat. I really do. I really appreciate you, Frankie Johnny, Sexy May, Big Sis. I appreciate you. I thank y'all, and God bless y'all. Love y'all, and everybody, y'all have a great one now.
You too. Good night, everybody.
Good night.